Hey everyone, it's been a while, but I hope you're doing well. A few years ago, I did my first review on the Mac Mini that Apple brought back to life and how enthusiastic I was to use it. The overall build, including storage and processor, was okay to do basic work on it, writing, emails, basic coding, assignments, and more. This is also the first computer I've been using to develop videos for this channel. Yet in these past few years, issues arose with this Intel processor. Enter Apple Silicon M chips. In the press release, Apple says M2 is optimized for Mac systems in which small size and power efficiency are critically important. M2 combines numerous powerful technologies into a single chip and features a unified memory architecture for dramatically improved performance and efficiency. Basically, Apple is saying that they have full control over the chip now, so they can make everything better for you, the end user. The Mini comes with a plug-in cable, and that's really it since this is a plug-and-play computer. Don't worry, I'll be talking about the features in a few minutes. I first began to realize that the Intel processor was slowing down last year. I found that the thermal issues would raise the entire temperature of the machine, which would cause a negative feedback loop of slowing down my workflow. Playing 4K videos on my Chrome significantly made my computer sluggish, and developing and rendering Final Cut Pro videos would take over an hour to do. Basically, this was the relationship between me and my Intel Mac Mini this year. So let's take a quick look at the ports on this M2 Mini. We have the Gigabit Ethernet port, HDMI, 2 USB-A ports, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, headphone jack. Wait, hold on. Didn't the 2020 Intel model have 4 Thunderbolt ports? Why yes, it did. Those extra 2 ports were given to the Mini M2 Pro. Like seriously Apple? Why you do this? Making videos for this channel, I went with the M2 8-core CPU with 16GB of memory and 512GB of storage, basically doubling the power and storage of my Intel Mini. What makes the Mini such a popular computer is its power and such a compact body. Also, its price point is such that it's affordable for most people, so it acts as a low-risk entry into the Apple ecosystem. What the Mini is not is a gaming computer. Later, I'll show the benchmarks of the M2 processor compared to Intel, AMD, and other Apple Silicon. Just like previous Minis, you can't manually change and upgrade the memory without voiding the warranty on it. Apple knows its customers pretty well, so I think trying to modify the hardware isn't worth it for a lot of users. Plus, it's known that Apple has hardware modification detection software that can end up locking you out of the computer if you try changing the parts yourself. If you're liking my videos, like and subscribe. It'll help me make more videos faster and produce content that you'll enjoy. These are Canadian dollar prices. The hardware difference between the Mini and Mini Pro are the number of ports and processor. The Mini that I own has 2 Thunderbolt ports, but the Pro Mini has 4. Also, Apple reserved a 10-core CPU and 16-core GPU processor for the Pro Model 2. These are the only differences between these models. If you're a motion graphic designer using tools like After Effects, Apple Motion, and very intense GPU software, it's in best interest to go for the Pro. The most intense work on my Mini has been Final Cut Pro, but professionals will need processors that go above and beyond, and I think that's the market Apple is catering to with the M2 Pro. What I like about Apple in general is how easy it is to back up data and put it onto a new device using tools like Time Machine. I found that Final Cut Pro was backing up a lot of past video files, and that was actually eating up a lot of storage. Once I deleted them, I had a smaller backup, meaning I could port my entire OS to the M2 faster. So I recommend you clean and organize your OS before porting it to a new machine. With Geekbench 6, I measured the M2 GPU performance, and it received a score of 26,774. This is better than Apple M1 score, but it is by no means better than the M1 Pro and the Max processor. And that's to be expected since those versions are actually multiple M1 chips fused together. Checking the performance with the Cinebench, I get a more detailed idea of the M2 performance against other processors. The M2 single-core chip outperforms pretty much all single-core Intel CPU processors. However, when it comes to the multi-core test, I see that the M2 ranks number 7, with AMD Ryzen Threadripper taking number 1 spot. To really test if the M2 is as good as it seems, I'm creating this video while running Cinebench in the background and I have 8 Chrome tabs open. If I had ever tried this on my Intel Mini, I would have burnt my house down. But you know what? The M2 really held it down. I didn't see any decline in performance as I switched between programs. If I had more complex workflows that involve Apple Motion or After Effects, then I could give viewers a thorough perspective on how powerful it is. But Final Cut Pro is a beast on processors, so this test should be enough. What I noticed about running these tests is that the machine did not heat up once, and it did not have the fan ever kick in. If anything, just the opposite, the Mini really stayed cool to the touch under these heavy workloads. Thanks to Apple's amazing attention to detail and work on the processor, the M2 was seamlessly reducing power consumption on the background processes that I wasn't using at the same time. I'm producing this video during the middle of a heat wave, so having my computer and environment cooking me at the same time is no bueno. Apple really knocked it out of the park when they decided to make their own processor. The issues that showed up with the Intel got too annoying to handle, and I'm glad I made this upgrade. What I don't like is that Apple removed these 2 extra Thunderbolt ports, which I used to connect my USB-C devices, and decided to add them to the Mini Pro. Beyond that, not much has significantly changed in the Mini's design. Overall, I'm looking forward to producing more content on the M2 now that I have a better processor, memory, and storage. If you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next episode.